Hi, welcome into Knit Habits. My name is Christina and I live here in Raleigh, North Carolina. If you are new here, welcome. I'm glad that you have stopped by. If this is your first time, I hope you decide to come on in and finish up the episode with me. And if you enjoy the content, which I hope you do, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I think I did the knitting podcast mostly, sometimes crochet. I did the who, I did the where, so I think we're good to go on all of that. I am wearing the Maritimo by Caitlin Hunter. And I have a dress, I have it on over a dress. So here it is. It has this pretty feather and fan on here. And it has, what you might be able to tell, has two colors here. So this is one and this is one, and then this. And it has the same detail on the sleeve as well. I've been going through and washing all of my hand knits. And so I just got this one out. It needed to be rewashed. It has a really nice wide boat neck on it, which not everybody likes a boat neck. I do. And let's see here. I made this color is a Needles at the Ready color out of Purple Gecko. I believe that the browner color that I bound off on the ends here, or put at the top of the feather and fan, I believe that one is Forbidden Fiber Company, Glen Sock, made out of a color called Wisdom. And then I believe this orange colored one here is the Toad Hollow sock called To the Pain. So I made this started it June 22nd of 2022 and finished it October 7th. So apparently it sat for a little bit of 2022 as well. So that is on my project page. So if you're interested, I will have the link below. I made the large size, and yeah, so there you go. It's a nice knit. I wore this to Rhinebeck one year. I think the first year I went. So it's pretty. All right, so we have a packed episode for you today. I have a couple of finished objects. I have works in progress, future projects. I have some stuff that's come in, and I have a big thank you to say to everyone. I want to just say thank you for coming in. I've had new subscribers, and I said that if we got over 300, which we did, we got to 300 and we got a little bit over. So thank you very much. I said that I would have a giveaway, and I will. So at the end of the episode, I'm going to ask a question. If you could put your answer below, I will do a random comment picker from there. And then I will have on the next episode, I will give away 2 patterns. And that will be patterns of your choice, up to $10 each. So each pattern will be $10, up to $10 of your choice. And I will pick that on the next episode. So thank you very much for helping me grow the channel, and we'll just continue going from there. I just noticed that my lady back here, she's kind of naked. I just noticed that. I have nothing on her. You know what? I think I'm going to pause and put something on her, and then I will come right back. Hold on. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is, now she's dressed. So this is the Cosmos top that I was test knitting during the last episode. And this is a pattern by Kayla Baldwin. I knit this out of Knitology yarn that's no longer available, that I got from Knit Crate in the colorway, I believe it's called Lemon Squeeze. Citrus Squeeze, I believe, is actually the colorway. I started this on April 23rd. I finished it on May 13th. It is bottom up, and it does have the folded hem right here. I really love this pooling or flashing that happened here. I think it looks like tie-dye. I think it's really cool. And then down here has this really pretty flower stitch, as she calls it. So it was just a fun knit. Here is where I was when you guys saw it last. So I did all of this, and then I did the what are those called? Straps here. So she has you do some shaping. She has you cast off underarm here and then do some shaping with decreases along the edge. And here along each of these edges here, she has you do a stitch, which I actually emailed her in question, and she goes, no, just keep it that way. It does a really cool, really helps with how keeping this part laying down, which I absolutely agree with. It turned out really nice. So it's going to come out soon. I think it's going to be done at the beginning of June, and then she'll put it out. But if you want to get a really great top to make for the summer that has some interest, and this flower stitch, as she says in the pattern, when you are able to purchase it, you'll see it looks good in any type of yarn, which I would have to agree, whether it's speckled or solid or something like this. So I know not everybody likes flashing like that. I just think it kind of looks like a really cool tie-dye print and perfect for summer in these colors. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Like I said, I did have some issues with the folded hem here. I think that was mostly me. I ended up doing the a provisional cast on and then picking up the stitches. But she has you do it, and it just lays down really, really nicely. So I think I'm definitely going to wear this during the summer. It's going to be definitely a staple. Here today in Raleigh, it's kind of supposed to be thunderstormy. We have nothing but thunderstorms in our weather forecast recently. So it's just kind of overcast and cool today, which at least it's not, 95 and 90 degrees humidity. So I'm happy about that. So yeah, this is the Cosmos top made out of Knitology yarn. It was a mixture yarn. I knit this in a US 3. US 3. Size 3, actually, and a US 3. So I made the third size, 40-inch bust, and I used a US 3 3.25 millimeter needles. So there you go. The other finished object I have is the Serpentine Pavilion Shawl by Caitlin Hunter. Not by Caitlin Hunter. Helen Stewart. Wow, words. I showed this last time. Here's where I was last time. I had only done this little bit from the beginning. I have not blocked it. I just finished it, so I haven't even, I wove in my ends, but I haven't trimmed them. So, but I did finish it. And so here's where I was last time. And it has this really pretty cable detail. So I knit all of this, and then it just has a really nice edge here. You do all this garter stitch, and it just has the cable on the one side. It's just a 3x3 cable. Really pretty. And so I knit a whole bunch on there since the last time. So this is going in the make along, which Tania and I of the Breakfast Crew are hosting. So don't forget about the make along. And that is the One Skein Wonder, Mal, and you can do anything you want, knit, crochet, machine knit, whatever you want to do for the One Skein Wonder Mal. So if you'd like to join, I do have a group on Ravelry, so you can find that there. You can also do the hashtag One Skein Wonder Mal 2026. So that was one of the first things that I've made for that, because I made it out of one skein. So if you'd like to do that, you can. I made that out of this yarn by XtinakYarnie from Australia. I have 23.73 grams left, but this is out of her ACM yarn in the colorway Fluoro Peach. It is a baby alpaca, cotton, and merino yarn. And it is just so lovely and fluffy. You can tell there. So I'm looking forward to getting that blocked and seeing how that plumps up. I think it's going to plump up really beautiful. But if you want a really easy one skein, fluffy, squishy thing that weighs nothing to knit on, I would say definitely do that. So there you go. That's all I have for finished objects. I have not worked on my Hexie cardigan. I haven't worked on it. It's still sitting over here from when I podcast last. I haven't worked on it at all. I wanted to get this done, so I worked on that, and then I wanted to get that shawl done. I have knit so much that I have, I think, injured my hands. I've been hurting here on my thumbs. So I've ordered a brace for my hands because they hurt pretty bad. So I've had to not be knitting quite as much as I would like the last few days, but hopefully giving them a little bit of rest will help that out a little bit. So things happen, right? Okay, so other things I've been working on a little bit. I have worked on the mountain socks that I am making. These are by a pattern by Rachel Nutting, Nutting. It is out of the Long Dog Yarn Merino Sock, which is a 75-25. The colorway is called View from the Fishbowl, and it has this mini here in the green, and then it has a really pretty pattern here, and it has that's the ball there. I did the shadow wrap heel that I usually do, and I am going to, here's where I was the last time. Here's this progress keeper here. So I did all of this, the heel, and I've been working on the foot. I'm just about to do the toe, which I'm going to do in the contrast mini color, and then start the next one. But it is an 8-row repeat. It's both charted and written pattern. You can choose whichever one you'd like, but I think it's coming out really pretty. And I started these on April 13th. I'm using Chow Goose US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. And I know that Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady is going to be doing her sock camp again, the summer sock camp. So keep in mind, if you use a skein of yarn for some socks for summer sock camp, you can double dip into our mal as well and put it in there. So don't forget, you can enter for prizes and maybe, you know, win prizes for both. Who knows? Maybe you're one of those lucky type people that do that. So these are the mountain socks again, made out of Long Dog yarn in the colorway View from the Fishbowl. And I'm just really liking it. It's turning out really pretty. Yeah, I think that's everything on those. What else have I been working on? I have been working on the Low Key by Elizabeth Smith. I am making size 3, which is the 42.25 bust, and this is made out of Knit Picks High Desert Worsted. hold on one second, I have it here. Here we are. The High Desert Worsted here. And the colorway is Dusk, I believe. It is 100% wool in that really pretty purple color. Yeah, Dusk. It comes in 50 grams skeins, 113 yards each. So, this is chilling out in my Mrs. Brown's bags. And let's see, when did I start this? Looking at my notes here. I started this, did I put down when I started? March 1st. I'm doing the tunic length. And this is made out of a US 9, 5.5 millimeter. I just am doing some, started to do some arm shaping, and I'm working on the front. So it is bottom up. It has the, if you remember, the split hem here. So that's probably why it's called high-low, or low-key, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so you have these two parts. This is the back, which is longer than the front. And here's where I was last time. So I put on a few inches here and have split for the front and the back. So I have the back on holder here and just trucking along on this. And I did a little bit of casting off on the side here, and I will work the front, I think, to a certain length, and then you'll pick up the back, you know, the usual bottom up kind of construction. But it is turning out really nice. And this yarn, like I've said before, is super soft and squishy. So that is the Low Key by Elizabeth Smith. And I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. Trucking right along, I have also been working on my Summer in Sicily by Mini Me Knit Designs. I started this on April 25th. I'm doing the 4th size. I am making this out of the Creative Linen. Just gonna throw my book on the floor apparently. By Rowan. Creative Linen, which is 50% linen, 50% cotton in the colorway teal. And let's see, hold on one second. I gotta pick that up off the floor. Okay. So where was I the last time? I apparently have this on the back, but whatever. Hold on one second. I was up here. So I had just done a little bit, and now I have done from here down to here. So I've done a few eyelet sections, some ribbing sections, some garter, some plain stockinette. And in the front, since it has that really neat front part, I have joined in the round. So last time it was flat, and now I've joined it in the round, and then that will be the front piece of the sweater. So I've done, oh, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches on there. And I have my Burton Ernie stitch markers, which I just love. So yeah, what am I doing with this? This is color 625 in the teal, size 4. I think I've said everything. Yeah. So this is fun. I'm looking forward to wearing this. I'm hoping to wear this. I was able to purchase my tickets. I'm going to take a couple classes at DFW this year in August. I'm going to go and visit Tania, and I'm super excited. I got my hotel, I got my classes, and I'm hoping to have this done so I can wear it in that really hot Texas weather, but I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful. So that's mostly what I've been working on. This is still hanging out in my bag from the Dapper Kraken, my beautiful bag with the fairies on it. And yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Now, moving on to things that have come in the house. I really had a great time. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I am part of, oh, I think I have. I am part of the Triangle Fiber Guild, and really enjoying it. It's a fiber guild that kind of almost died, I think, in a certain way, when the pandemic happened, and we're still trying to get it kind of moving along again. And so I had invited Rachel from Chapel Hill Maker. So if you haven't watched her podcast, please head on over to her channel. She has a lovely, really beautiful channel. She's just a really lovely person, and I have, talked to her a little bit on Instagram here and there, and we like each other's posts. And but I knew she was in Chapel Hill, and the meeting this last month was at a yarn store called Yarns Inc. Or no, I'm sorry, not Yarns Inc. Yarns Etc. And we got to hang out with the owner and have just a really, really lovely evening. And Rachel, I invited her to come along, and she came by, and so I enjoyed meeting up with her. And it was just an enjoyable evening. And of course, I couldn't say no to purchasing some yarn. So, and she had just come back from H&H, which is a show just for people that own like yarn stores, or, do any sort of buying for things like that. And so she had just come back from there, and she had she'd brought some things with her. One of the things that she brought with her was this yarn here. And it has these really pretty sequins in it. So I got 3 of these. It's a lace weight yarn, and I don't know, it's all in another language that I cannot read. But it is lace weight. It has those really pretty sequins on it. And I purchased, you know me, orange is my thing. It's my jam, right? So I got some Pima cotton by Barocco, Pima 100. So this is going to be, did I write down what it's going to be? No. Let me look it up. Okay. So these two are going to be the Anders tee by Colibri by Joanna or Johanna. I'm not sure exactly how that's said. I will have a picture up of that. So it's a really pretty top. Looks like, you could probably layer things with it, but really pretty eyelets pattern, work top down with raglan increases and a checked lace pattern. So I'm looking forward to getting that started. That's what these are going to be. That's going to be my next cast on, is going to be that. And it's in this really beautiful, I know it's probably blowing out, but it's a really bright orange. You know me, I love orange. So I'm looking forward to that. So I purchased that from there. And if you want to go online, she has a website. If you're ever in Chapel Hill and you can go by there, really, really lovely. I think Mary is her name. Just really lovely store. I think I have the card here, Yarns Etc. in Chapel Hill. So I will definitely have it linked below. So that was a lovely evening that we had there. And it was really fun meeting Rachel. She's super talented. anyway, if you can go and check out her website, definitely do. I'm going to grab some books that I purchased as well. So hold on one second. Okay, back. So for Mother's Day, along with a wonderful gift my kids got me because my 50th birthday is coming up in July, they got me a beach trip for out to Wilmington for my birthday. So it's like a very touching gift. So I'm very excited about that. Very much looking forward to spending time with all of my kids out there and, you know, just having some beach time. I love the beach. So, and my son Ricky also got me this book that was on my list for, on Amazon, the Embroidery Stitch Companion, that has different stitches on here, the whipped stitch and different things you can do with, you know, best practices for thread. So tips and hints and different, how to do different stitches, how to do some shading variations. So a really interesting book if you're into embroidery at all, doing things with beads. So a really interesting book by Search Press there. And I will have that linked below as well. So I got that from him. And then I also had this on my list of things. So he got me this as well. And you've probably seen this by Andrea Rangel. And it has all sorts of, it has some patterns in it. So that's really cool. And it has all sorts of different ways of doing, you know, different patterns. So I'm looking forward to being able to throw any pattern I want into something and get going on that. And then I was doing some other ordering and decided to pick up the Doodle Knit dictionary by Jamie Lomax. And it has 200 mix and match motifs and patterns for knitted accessories in it. So very similar. Also has some patterns in it. It's just like the doodle decks, you know, so it has a bunch of patterns and things in it. So similar motif. I love doing color work. It's just so fun. So yeah, looking forward to that too. So that came into the house. What other things came into the house? I don't know if you guys know of or have seen this on Instagram or not. But this company, she's just starting out. It's called Sandhill Yarn. And she is selling hand-dyed skeins for $15. And I believe you have to kind of sign up to get alerted to their sales. So I'll have them linked below, and she sends out, I think, an email, and then she'll send you text messages if you sign up to know. I think they have once a week. They'll have things on sale, or new skeins, new colorways on sale. So I purchased some last week. It shipped really fast, and you know, 3 skeins of hand-dyed yarn for $50. Really cheap, but it looks like it's beautiful quality. It's a beautiful red tonal. This is called Rosa. So I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be something beautiful. I could tell you that. So I picked that up. Again, that's Sandhill Yarns in the colorway Rosa, and it's an 80-20. Really beautiful colorways. So I got that. And then the last thing that I brought in, which I need to go on a bit of a yarn diet, is a chick that knits out of Oklahoma had a sale on her minis. So I purchased, she had them as low as like $2 for hand-dyed minis. So I got 2 of these, which is kind of a really pretty peachy color. And this is called Copper Tone, and it's on her deluxe sock, 80/20. It's 80 yards, 20 gram minis. And so pick that up. And then I also picked up 3 of these because they were just really pretty. And do I know what I'm doing with these? Absolutely not. And these are called Confetti. Again, the same base, the 80/20, right there. And then I also picked up this one that's called Blue Spruce. I got one of these. They're all in the same base. Pretty teal color. And I picked up one of these because it's just like a highlighter-y neon color. Goes with my nail. Perfect. This is called a chartreuse. I would say it's more of a highlighter color than a chartreuse, but that's just me. I would say this, well, this is kind of more of a chartreusey or a mustardy color to me, but this is called Brandish Brass. There you go. And she threw in this pretty like dark brownish color, blackish brown color as well, which is called Feathers. So that was very nice of her, very unexpected. But thank you very much, Tammy. And she also has a podcast that she does as well. So I'll link that below also. And there's her, if you aren't familiar with her. So that was everything that came into my yarn pantry. Who doesn't need minis, right? All right, so moving on to, let's make sure I've talked about all the things I want to talk about. Yarns, etc., Fiber Guild. Please don't forget that I am an affiliate for Pearl Soho. I will have my link below. I will have, I should have already said this, but I will have all the places that you can find me. That should have already been up. Going to DFW at the end of August. So if you're in Texas or you're going to DFW, please, I would love to meet you. Please don't be afraid to come up and talk to me if that's the case. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do some therapy talk, and then at the very end, I will put that question on there for the giveaway. Therapy talk. What did I want to talk about today? Well, the thing that comes up for me a lot in my week is boundaries. People are afraid of making boundaries. People aren't good at making boundaries. People don't want to upset somebody, so they don't want to make boundaries. All of these different things. People don't know how to make boundaries. Boundaries are very related to culture. There are some cultures that don't, boundaries are not a thing. And so they just don't know about it because their family culture, their ethnic culture, whatever, they came from, that wasn't a thing. So, so what are boundaries? And I'm going to be reading. So if I'm looking down, I'm just reading my notes here. So what are boundaries? Boundaries are limits and rules you set for yourself in relationships. So whether that's just a relationship that is with somebody you're dating, a friendship, relationship, it could be at work, whatever the case may be. And it says, when managed well, boundaries protect you and allow for intimacy and new experiences. The first rule that I always tell people about boundaries is that if you are going to set a boundary, there's always a consequence to a boundary. So if you're going to set a boundary, you have to stick to whatever that consequence was for that boundary. If you do not stick to that consequence, all you did in teaching that person that you set the boundary with was, I don't have to listen to her, right? Them, him, her, whatever. They don't have to listen to you. So you have to stick to it, whatever it is. So what are boundary styles? Well, there's a few different boundary styles. Boundaries they say, exist on a spectrum, right? From porous to rigid. Everyone has a combination of different boundary styles in different situations with different people. So with somebody you trust, that you love, that you are in a relationship with, maybe an intimate relationship, you may have more porous boundaries. Somebody that you don't know, you're getting to know, somebody that maybe the other person doesn't have really great boundaries. So you have to have really rigid boundaries with that other person because they don't have any. So there are different types of boundaries. So the first one is porous. Okay. A person with porous boundaries struggles to say no to others. This allows for intimacy, but often at the cost of their wants or needs. Then there's healthy boundaries. A person with healthy boundaries can say no to others, but they're also open to intimacy and new experiences. And a person with rigid boundaries keeps others at a distance. This offers protection and stability, but at the cost of intimacy and new experiences. So you may have to have different types of boundaries with different people in different relationships in different scenarios, right? So there's also boundary types. So there's physical, emotional, intellectual, sexual, material, and time. So physical can be how you manage personal space and physical touch. Emotional, how you share and protect your feelings, right? So who do you allow to give you a hug, touch you on the arm, those sorts of things, right? As a therapist, I would not touch, I mean, I don't touch anyone without their consent, but I would certainly never touch, a client or anything like that, right? But with your friends, with loved ones, you want to see how much you can share emotionally with other people. Intellectual, how you express and explore thoughts and ideas. So that can go with like even politically, how much you share about politics or religion or, those kind of like topics we don't bring up to people, right? Sexual, with how and with whom you express your sexuality. Material, how you use your money and possessions. Um, you want to have boundaries with maybe who you talk about money with, how much money you spend with people or don't spend with people, or let somebody borrow, those sorts of things. Time, how you spend and structure your time. Your values can have a big impact on your boundaries. For example, if you highly value time with your family, you might set strict boundaries at work. The appropriateness of boundaries depends on setting. For example, what's appropriate with friends might not be appropriate at work, right? You have to be professional at work. The things that I know when people call in and talk to me, it's really kind of funny because, they'll be all amped up on something and really upset, and they'll, let the F-bomb fly or call somebody a name or whatever, and then I'll often get people go, oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And I'll think, I'll tell them, you could say that. It's fine with me. You're not offending me personally. I mean, I use those words, just not here, is what I tell people. So you do have to sometimes have boundaries. You have to be a different person, not necessarily a different person, but you may not let everything, be willy-nilly in certain places, right? And then some cultures have very different boundary expectations, like I was talking about. For example, some cultures consider it inappropriate to express emotions publicly, while others encourage emotional expression. So just a little bit on boundaries and the way that the porous and healthy and rigid come into play. So, for example, physical boundaries refer to personal space and physical touch. So porous would allowing or initiating unwanted touch or physical closeness. There are people like that, right? That, maybe they come up to you and they want to hug you and you're like, ugh, like step off, so you have to like then set that boundary of, no, you don't get to touch me. You don't get, you need to stand over there, right? So healthy boundary in regard to physical touch would be allowing or initiating appropriate touch or physical closeness of, you know, you met somebody, you're getting to know them, or you haven't seen somebody for a while, whatever. Can I give you a hug? Those sorts of things. But you ask, right? That's healthy. Rigid would be never allowing or initiating appropriate touch or physical closeness. Emotional boundaries, right? Referring to your feelings. So oversharing or talking on or taking on too much of someone else's emotions. I'm sure you know that person, right? You just met somebody and all of a sudden now you know everything about them and you're like, I didn't need to know any of those things. um, and I think that people are having more and more trouble with that with social media. I think that sometimes people are just a little bit inappropriate and they just don't realize that you don't always need to tell everybody everything, right? Sharing and connecting with others is a healthy boundary with others in the way that feels right to you, right? And then rigid would be never sharing your emotions or never attending to those of others. And then there's material boundaries, sexual boundaries, intellectual boundaries, and time boundaries. So I will have links below. I found this information just to kind of help with how to have this discussion on Therapist Aid. I will have that linked below. So if you'd like to find those and do more research, you certainly can. So yeah, just a little talk about boundaries because I find that again, people are afraid to set boundaries, but if you don't set boundaries with people, oftentimes you will be the person that gets walked all over. And sometimes you really do have to set boundaries with people. And I talk to people all the time. Being a caring person is a good thing, right? Being that person that wants to take care of others. However, when you are the person that likes to take care of others, you like being the person that people go to for help or advice, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being a caring person. However, you then have to have good understanding of yourself emotionally, of your own boundaries. You have to have your own boundaries on that because while givers have to have boundaries, takers oftentimes don't. So you have to create your own. So that's where that learning to say no is a boundary, right? No, I can't do that. No, I can't talk to you about this right now, whatever the case may be. So just some things to think about there. And I'll have links below for where you can find more information on boundaries. And if this is a place you struggle with, certainly go get some therapy. It's a good place to learn how to have boundaries with others and how to practice that as well. So the question for the giveaway, and please feel free to answer below. The question that I came up with is, if you could time travel, would you go to the past or the future? Do you want to know what the future holds for you? Or do you want to go to the past and experience what that's like? I don't know which one I would want to do. I don't think I would want to go to the future. I think I like having the future be something that's still unfolding. But maybe go back to the past and visit another time. That seems fun to me, go back to the 18th century or something and wear a big dress and do that for a little while. I think that sounds kind of fun, just to live in that romantic era. Although chamber pots don't sound really fun to me, but maybe just for a little bit, just a little bit of time, go back to the past, meet some figure from the past. That sounds fun. Anyway, if you could answer that below, I will have picked 2 people in the next episode. And as always, I always end with go and give yourself the same grace you would give everyone else. And I truly appreciate you coming and hanging out with me and seeing what yarny shenanigans I have gotten up to recently. Take care.